before, your guardian angel is wrapping you in a cloak of loving protection. You are safe, sweet souls, going on this new path. Hey there, sweet souls. How are you? It's your Force Fairy here. Nice to see you again. Welcome in and welcome back to the 100 Acre Woods, where I read cards out here. So let's read some cards for you, sweet souls. We're going to do a galactic read today and take a look at some of the messages from the Galactic family. I always want to say the Galactic Federation, and I think that's Star Trek. Like, it's so Star Trek, right? But we're going to use the Galactic Heritage cards to clarify. We're going to start off, of course, with the Stardust deck. Do a 6-card spread and take a look at the current situation, the ideal, the blockage, solution, advice, and the outcome. And then we are going to clarify with the Galactic Heritage cards. Let's get started. We got one card that won't go in the deck. So the current situation is waking up. Judgment. The energies are changing. The energies are changing. I think across the board. I think the energies of Gaia, of the world, of the earth, of the inhabitants on it, of the human world and the digital world. I think it's, with the Judgment card here, it's changing. Everything is changing. The ideal. Queen of Swords. I'm really seeing this Queen of Swords as of late, to tell the truth, to be honest, to be integral. The block. Forgiveness. The block is forgiveness. Yep, everyone's holding on to resentment and anger and frustration and the feeling of lack and without. Yeah, forgiveness is the block. Being able to forgive. The solution. The 4 of Swords is to rest the mind, to meditate, and to be able to tap back into your soul's voice. The advice, not to worry. With the 9 of Swords, not to worry. And the outcome, the Hierophant. The Hierophant. Teacher-student card. And this is coming from the Galactic family. Are they coming to teach? Okay. Bottom of the deck. And that which you might not see, a brand new path with the Ace of Wands. I always see the Ace of Wands as a brand new path. It's the spark. It's the ace. Something brand new. Whether it be a new path, whether it be a new idea, whether it be a new concept, whether it be something that sparks, and I'm hearing sparks joy in your life. What sparks joy in your life? For some people, the waking up process is a very difficult process. It's scary. It's what we've been told, what we've been programmed. The illusions have been so ingrained that it's unbelievable. Some people will not believe it and will not be able to believe it, of the existence that we're really living in. But this is sparking something brand new with the Ace of Wands, and that's what we don't see. What is this new path? What is this new awakening? Like, what are we awakening to? Let's see what the Galactic family has. Get some clarifiers on this. Whoa. See that? Just stopped. Interesting. Is time stopping? Let's do that again. It almost felt like a timeline or time-space. Like, that was very interesting. Okay. Let's get some clarifiers on the Judgment card. First card out, which is the current situation. It's the Great Wake Up. It is the awakening to our reality right there. Beyond wisdom. First card out. And it's the first card of the deck. Beyond wisdom. First card out. I'm going to read, as I do with the Galactic Heritage cards, read from the guidebook and birth and expansion. LYRA. Okay. Let's take a look at this. And as I have done with all the other galactic reads, I'm just going to put the galactic deck right there and pull from the top as I always do. Let's read Beyond Wisdom. Founders. The founders represent the abiding awareness, the one consciousness that spans time and space. This consciousness is aware of its simultaneous existence as both the whole and its separate parts. It creates an illusion of fragmentation so that we could have individual lifetimes, but its wholeness still abides and is ultimately the consciousness that sees through the eyes of every living soul. This is your true self. Some call it God, because this card points to your true nature. It is the most powerful card of this deck. It cuts through illusion and moves beyond wisdom. It is you. Remember. Ooh, I'm getting chills from this. I've never read this card. Like, it's never come up in a read. I have never read this card. Okay, so let's keep going on this card. Because humans appear to exist in a linear, separate reality, we cannot have a card that truly embodies the energy of the complete wholeness and have the human mind be able to perceive this truth. If it were to be represented in this deck, it would have to be card number 0. This card, number 1, holds the energy of our initial fragmentation from the source. This first fragmentation, looking at it from a linear perspective, created many subgroups of wise beings manifesting as group consciousness systems who act as the architects of our journey through polarity and back into wholeness. They maintain the memory of being whole and separate at the same time and guide us through this journey. They are a manifestation of the great hologram of creation that contains all things and potentials. This is why the theme is Beyond Wisdom. What they offer us has little to do with intellectual knowledge or even what is called wisdom. They represent us in our integrated state and help us maintain the memory of our true state of existence as one being throughout all creation. If this card appears in your spread, it is a reminder of your true nature and a suggestion to never get distracted by the chaos or intensity of physical existence. Let yourself feel the connection with the source in a way that goes beyond intellect. As this connection grows stronger within you, it can serve as a guiding force in your life. Trust that connection. Wow. So the current situation is the awakening process, awakening to true consciousness, awakening to the oneness as fragmented or separated individuals. We are to experience the fragmentation. We are to experience the separation, and the oneness is the awakening process, awakening us to the oneness. It sounds like it. Know that you are a spark of God, that you are one with the great divine. That is consciousness. This is your true self, sweet souls. Wow, okay. I always get such powerful energy from these reads. Okay. So the LYRA card, Birth and Expansion. As the Lyran civilization grew, it unleashed a tremendous amount of creative energy. There was so much excitement to build this new civilization and expand into the galaxy. It was a time of optimism, enthusiasm, and creative experimentation. This card reminds you of that ancient time that you were a part of, and it encourages you to once again find that creative spark within you. Don't be afraid of your creativity. There were times when you were punished for it, but that reality has passed. It's time to release the karmic pattern of fearing your creativity and trust the universe to support it. Creativity can be used for service or for selfishness. In their journey to mature as a species, the Lyrans used this creativity in both ways, and they learned the lessons of selfishness when they made unconscious, self-serving choices. Just like children or teenagers learn about the results of their choices, so did the Lyrans. If you have this card in your reading, look at the surrounding cards if there's any theme of several cards that warn of ego traps. Pay attention to your hidden desires for your creative process. If the cards have a theme of nurturing your creativity and spiritual development, then you are encouraged to trust your creative process and to take the risks with it, even if you don't know where it'll lead. I feel with that beyond wisdom that this is definitely, do not be afraid of your creativity. Wake up to your creativity when it's clarifying the judgment card. And with this awakening process that we're going through, dare to create. Even if you don't know where it's going to take you, dare to create. Okay, so the ideal is the Queen of Swords, clarified by spiritual commitment and progressive desires. Spiritual commitment. In modern times, very often we make a spiritual commitment when we are in pain. When the pain goes away, we become busy with the distractions of life and no longer remember our commitment. The Vegans never lost their spiritual commitments and wove them into their everyday lives in so many enriching ways. This card asks you to look honestly at your spiritual commitments. How can you strengthen them no matter whether you are feeling pain or joy? Go deep within and find the longing to be one with the universe. Remember, that longing and your commitment can begin there. That right underneath the beyond wisdom, this is the consciousness. This is co-creating, as I see it with the birth and expansion card, of not being afraid of your creativity, not being afraid of co-creating with the universe, but making a commitment to discovering, finding, maintaining who you truly are, the consciousness, knowing that you're fragmented with the individuality, and finding that consciousness. It might mean through spiritual practice, whatever that means to you, because it's going to differ for all of us how we connect. And then when you make that connection, making the commitment to keep that connection. The text for this card acknowledges the immense self-discipline of the Vegan mystics of ancient times. Through their dedication and spiritual practices, they gave many gifts to their descendants, including the mystical schools of Earth. This card points to the truth that spiritual evolution cannot take place without a commitment. This may be a commitment to a specific practice, such as yoga or meditation, or it may mean a commitment to becoming the clearest and most balanced human being you can become and taking the actions needed to do so. And it's clarifying the Queen of Swords. That's what she represents. Clarity and balance, that's Libra energy, and that's what the Queen of Swords is. Yes. If this card comes up in your reading, take a look at the surrounding cards and your life circumstances for more clues. Most likely, this card is reminding you to stay focused and committed on your spiritual path, even when it is not convenient or enjoyable to do so. Those are the times when growth is the most pronounced. Sometimes people don't know what kind of practice to commit to. Know that the type of practice is less important than simply making the commitment. As long as the practice isn't a comfortable distraction, instead of an authentic path that helps you see yourself clearly, and it's right below that beyond wisdom, which is seeing yourself clearly. Take this time to connect with your inner self through whatever practice suits you and is one of the most important gifts you can give yourself and your planet. Wow. And then we go to Earth. Progressive desire. During a time of transformation, it is common to feel a great excitement and desire to make sweeping changes very quickly. However, because there are many people who fear change, yes indeed, It is prudent to make change that is slow and steady instead of rushing things. In this way, those who cling to the old will not get spooked and obstruct the natural process of transformation. Take an honest look at your life and see where you are either moving too fast or resisting change. Seek the middle road. That's the balance of the Queen of Swords. As you do this, you assist the earth to transform itself with grace and ease. And again, the Queen of Swords for me has always represented grace, along with the Libra energy. Change is a constant, and we can never escape it, but we have to be wise when we implement it. If this card came up in your reading, it may be asking you to look at the impulsive actions you have taken based on premature desires for change. Conversely, it may be asking you to take a chance with change and growth, even when you feel frightened. You will have to look at the surrounding cards and your life circumstances in order to gain a clear understanding of the message this card is trying to give you. Given the energy on Earth now, during this transformational time, change will happen rapidly and profoundly, no matter how afraid we are. This is the nature of the energy at this time. It would be wise to begin to feel comfortable with the unknown and with new directions that may arise, so that when growth becomes necessary for you, you can navigate it with grace and ease. When it's right below that birth and expansion, which talked about the Lyra's past, the Lyran's past, about creativity being used in a selfish way, you may want to make changes, whether it be to your spiritual commitments, to your daily spiritual practices, and you might want to look behind these changes, as the Progressive Desires mentions, to make changes slowly and consciously. And so the block is the Page of Cups, and it's clarified by spiritual technology. Ooh. And freedom. Freedom. Spiritual commitment and spiritual technology. Let's go to spiritual technology. The ancient pagan mystics became quite adept at creating spiritual technology. This refers to using tools such as crystals, wands, geometry, and so on to enhance spiritual experiences or perform a function, such as clearing the energy in a home or healing a person. Originally, these tools were meant to be an enhancement of spiritual practices, but over time, the Vegans became dependent on them and forgot that the power was not in the objects. It was a profound lesson for them. Examine how you use spiritual tools now. Do you depend on them more than your own inner power? In the middle development era of the Vega civilizations, a branch of spiritual science began to focus on spiritual technology. What is spiritual technology? It is technology that assists spiritual development. It can range from external tools such as crystals, wands, frequency generators, healing tools, and more. It can also include meditation techniques that have elaborate processes or steps that seem as if they provide a shortcut to a desired goal, but can often instead lead the practitioner along a path of distraction. All tools are neutral and can be used in a balanced way, an addictive way, or a way that controls others. This era in the Vega civilizations was a challenging one, and it connects to the era on Earth in the present day, where many are looking for spiritual shortcuts instead of doing the real deep inner work necessary for spiritual transcendence. If this card appears in your reading, it could mean different things depending on your surrounding cards, your life circumstances, and of course your past karma. Perhaps it may imply that you are becoming too addicted to spiritual technology and need to look at your inner self as a source of evolution. Or perhaps the opposite is true. Perhaps you can benefit by investigating spiritual technology in a balanced way. It could also be pointing to past lives in Vega or Atlantis in which you dealt with the misuse of technology. Go within and examine what this card means in the context of other factors mentioned above. So when we see the Beyond Wisdom, this Beyond Wisdom card is your true self, sweet souls. This is your true self. And it talks about cutting through illusion. And when it's clarifying the Judgment card, that's exactly it. And then right below that is the Spiritual Commitment card. And the Spiritual Commitment card talked about what we do on the daily to stay connected, our spiritual commitment to, and I dare say underneath the Beyond Wisdom, to finding ourselves, to finding our oneness with all that is. It talks about strengthening the commitment to our spiritual connection and our spiritual connection to the Great Divine, but to each other, to all that is. And so when spiritual technology comes up, this might be you looking into crystals, looking into frequencies, looking into instruments that provide, enhance healing frequencies, and to practice, make a spiritual commitment. And let's say it might mean making a spiritual commitment to play your instrument every day, to learn an instrument, to be dedicated to create. When we have the Progressive Desires card, and create without being afraid, like the Birth and Expansion card. Don't be afraid of your creativity. Don't be afraid of the power of your creativity, especially when it has to deal with healing powers of the spiritual technology, whether it be crystals, whether it be frequencies, vibrations. I think this is where, when it's clarifying the Page of Cups, the Page of Cups for me is, yes, new love, getting tapped into your true essence, your true self, but at the same time, for me as a reader, it's a forgiveness card, and forgiving those that might have used spiritual technologies. And when the spiritual technology card mentioned frequencies, I know that the frequencies have been harming us on a collective. The collective has been harmed by frequencies. They call it energy weapons. Weapons! So the spiritual technology has been weaponized. So maybe that's why, as an individual, we are to tap into our spiritual commitment and cleanse our environment, cleanse our homes, cleanse our bodies, our minds, bodies, and souls from what is being forced upon us. Freedom is also clarifying the Page of Cups. I read it as a forgiveness card. This forgiveness is not for the people that have hurt you or harmed you. The forgiveness card is freedom for you, sweet soul. Freedom. The ancient Vegans had many challenges in their personal development, including feelings of self-limitation, self-judgment, over-controlled emotions, and martyrhood, just to name a few. This kept them feeling like slaves to their mental and emotional patterns for millennia. But as they awakened, they realized that those patterns were just illusions that stopped them from seeing their inner light. Once they realized this, they experienced a tremendous sense of spiritual liberation and freedom. This is the same challenge humans have. Can you stop validating mental and emotional patterns and simply be your light? This is about awakening to your light. This is about awakening to your creativity. This is about seeing that changes are happening on earth, within the collective, and all that is. And it is an ascension. And to forgive those that have tried to keep us as a collective in lower frequencies, in hurt and harm. But when you realize it's just an illusion, it's a very difficult program to get out of. So this card refers to an era of Vegan history in which the Vegans had surmounted all their spiritual challenges and became an awakened species. All civilizations have this opportunity, but often a planetary civilization has to go through several cycles of darkness and ignorance before it can become awakened. Earth is in a time of darkness now, but it is always darkest before dawn. Humanity has tremendous potential to become an awakened species as well, but the process is never easy. It requires individuals and a society as a whole to see themselves clearly. That's that first card, Beyond Wisdom. And to take the steps needed to transform ignorance into enlightenment. This card refers to the immense freedom and liberation that comes from spiritual insight and no longer being a slave to the emotions, painful memories of the past, or fears about the future. It refers to a state of consciousness that is rooted in the now, where all of your energy that was once spent in worry, fear, judgment, and self-sabotage is reclaimed. If this card shows up in your reading, then it usually means that you are on the precipice of major change. An opportunity to free yourself from old destructive patterns that have kept you stuck. In order to express this energy in the physical reality, however, you will need to take all the steps needed in your life to claim your freedom. Know that these steps may be painful, but the liberation that comes is like a rebirth. Birth and expansion, right there. Yeah. As each person takes these steps to transform his or her life, the entire planet's consciousness can evolve as well. Have no fear. The energy of the ancient vegan masters supports you on your journey. Sweet souls. Let's see what the solution is. The Four of Swords, clarified by Enlightenment and blind enthusiasm. So the Four of Swords is about rest after battle, resting the mind, because swords are thoughts, resting the body, to be able to get up and continue on. But this is rest. So the solution and clarifying the Four of Swords is enlightenment. The Zetas had a tangible experience of moving from fear to awakening, but it was not an easy one. Through this crisis, they had to first learn to embrace emotion as a valid part of existence, and then, at the same time, not to attach emotion, but to rise above it. Encountering this paradox was essential to their transformation as a species. The same lesson is being asked of you now. Embrace and honor all aspects of who you are, even those you don't like. At the same time, know that mind, emotions, and body are not who you are. Expand your consciousness beyond them. This is enlightenment. This is rising above emotions. And of course, in a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith Four of Swords, it is a warrior, a knight, resting, with three swords above them, representing the Three of Swords, which is heartache, and realizing that swords are thoughts. And I sometimes wonder, are we breaking our own hearts with memories of the past, with fears of the future, instead of really taking a look at how we can rest, at how we can enlighten ourselves to our thoughts and emotions, like moving through the 4D into the 5D. The 4D are thoughts and emotions, and the 5D is the here and the now. Also, clarify the Four of Swords is blind enthusiasm. A habitual pattern of the Pleiadians when they were a young species was to become very excited about an idea and implement it without thinking it through. What are the far-reaching implications of these actions? Who benefits? Who is hurt? Take a good look at the times you may have done this in your current life. In the eyes of the universe, there are no mistakes. However, everyone has the responsibility to see beyond their own excitement and try to make choices that support the whole rather than the ego's desire. Pleiadians were a young species and very idealistic and enthusiastic. They often excitedly bounced from one plan to another without thinking things through, sometimes offending or hurting those on the other end of their plans. This is a quality of most young people and species, and through lessons learned, we eventually grow out of it. The Pleiadians today still have a tremendous amount of enthusiasm, but it isn't so blind any longer. They have learned patience, temperance, and respect in regard to others. One of the significant signs of a matured person or species is that they can make decisions with their eyes fully open and never infringe on the rights of others, force a reality on others, or become self-centered in their plans. The Pleiadians have achieved this state, but humans are not there yet. If this card has come up in your reading, look at other cards to see if it might be a Pleiadian karma or memory of yours. Are there other cards with similar themes? It may simply be a warning about your actions in this life as a human. And it's clarifying the Four of Swords, which is not doing anything. And enlightenment talks about rising above thoughts and emotions. Being enthusiastic is an emotion, right? To really see if it's your ego that's driving you. The solution is to just rest, take a moment. And I always see the Four of Swords as a meditation card. So meditating, and it takes us back to the spiritual commitment. And then the advice is the Nine of Swords, clarified by living in the now. Yes, indeed. Living in the now, which is enlightenment, not to worry. And because the Nine of Swords is definitely worry. And calling our parts home. Sirius. Living in the now. Dolphin consciousness, more evolved than human, has the capacity to be rooted in the present moment and to live fully there. This explains their playful nature and how interactions with them bring humans into balance. As the human species and brain evolve, we will need to develop this skill as well. In doing so, we free ourselves from attachments of the past and worries of the future to create an abundance of energy for the now moment. This creates more joy and profound feelings of connectedness to the universe. Every day, focus on your breath. Keep attention rooted there. Now is all that exists. And it did mention the worries of the future. Don't worry, especially when the planet and the human species are awakening. Don't worry. Live in the here and the now. This state is actually one of the highest of integrity, authenticity, impeccability, and self-responsibility, and it is the state to which humanity is evolving to. It means letting go of the past and no longer attaching to the future. When we bring our full consciousness to the here and now, our state of consciousness evolves in a powerful way. If this card comes up in your reading, it could mean several things. It may mean that you are being asked to embrace the quality of living in the now as a way to let go of pains of the past or worries about the future. A great way to practice this is to simply sit quietly and focus on your breath. If your mind wanders, just refocus on the breath. This is an essential skill to navigate the coming changes in Earth's reality. Begin practicing now. Have patience. The changes are cumulative and require focus and commitment, but you will soon notice things shift in your reality because you have shifted. Wow. And that is right beside that spiritual commitment. It might mean not to worry and to calm the mind and calm your worries of the future, of where things are going. It might mean to start practicing with breath work. And as it says, just focus in on your breath. And when your mind starts wandering, focus in on that breath and inhaling and exhaling. So also clarifying, the Nine of Swords is calling our parts home. When we connect with the future Sirius energy, it acts as a force that nudges us towards the integration of all of our parts, the shadow and the light. If you have had lifetimes of deep polarity and struggle, this Sirius energy can provide a profound healing if you allow yourself to embrace all the parts of you, even those you don't want to see. Take a quiet moment and visualize the star Sirius. With each inhale, breathe in its energy, and with each exhale, release old, separated parts of you into the light of Sirius. In doing so, you call all parts of you home. The Sirians from this era are devoted to serving humans and other species as they too experience planetary awakening. In order for this awakening to happen, individuals and the planetary consciousness of a whole must begin a process of integrating the aspects that we never allowed to be embraced, the shadow as well as the light. In that way, this card is a very healing card. If it shows up in your reading, there may be many messages. It could mean that a Sirian being is working directly with you to assist your growth, and this being could strongly have the potential of being a future self. The strongest message, however, is that this is a time for you to begin to embrace all parts of yourself that you always wish to keep separate, the parts of you that you cannot love. All of these parts must now be embraced. When they are, your full being will be home. This is the first step on the path of awakening. And it brings us back to the Judgment card and beyond wisdom, of finding your true self, calling all your parts home, all of the good, bad, and the ugly, right? Accepting all parts. I did notice in that card, the breathing. Again, I'm feeling that the spiritual commitment is to really start a daily breath practice. Whether it be inside, outside, but start breathing, focusing on just breath, on just the here and the now. And then, of course, the outcome, the Hierophant, clarified by forgiveness and gratitude. That brings us back to the Page of Cups. Forgiveness and gratitude. And Force of Attraction. Orion light. The outcome, and clarifying the Hierophant, forgiveness and gratitude. While dolphins have been known as intelligent beings for hundreds of years, they still have been hunted, killed, and seen as animals. Yet dolphin consciousness does more than simply forgive humans. Dolphins innately see humans as aspects of the Creator, and in doing so, they see the big picture and do not polarize themselves into victims or perpetrators. This card reminds you to move beyond forgiveness, which is often polarized, seeing all beings, even those who hurt you, as aspects of creation. The lessons they provide you enhance your spiritual growth. Be grateful for them. Dolphins are sentient beings, much like humans, except without the high levels of polarity in their consciousness. This is why dolphins appear to exist in a joyful, fully present state, being rooted in the now. They do not hold the pains of the past or the worries of the future in the present moment. Even though humans have hunted them and mistreated them for thousands of years, they do not hold a grudge, but continue to joyfully interact with us and even save us from danger. When consciousness is rooted in the now, the definition of forgiveness changes. No longer is there a past pain that needs to be forgiven. The joy and love of the moment is the expression of non-attachment to the pains of the past. If this card came up in your reading, the meaning can be on several levels. It may mean that you have a strong dolphin connection, or it may mean that dolphin consciousness is working with you and, in a sense, is calling you to interact with it for the purpose of your own healing and growth. Another meaning may be even more personal. If there is a person, including yourself, or a situation that you cannot forgive, this card's message is encouraging you to change your definition of what forgiveness means and transform the situation into gratitude for the lesson learned. This alchemy of redefining pain and forgiveness and instilling gratitude for the lessons learned ensures a powerful transformation that can free you from the past. So for some of you, as the forgiveness and gratitude card describes, if you're having troubles forgiving, transmute that energy, that forgiveness energy, into gratitude and thank whatever this Hierophant means to you. a marriage, a belief system. I'm just going to say a system of control, and be grateful for the lessons learned. And that brings us to the force of attraction. The natural state of existence is balance. It takes more energy to sustain a state of imbalance than to surrender to balance. Balance is a state of integration, where all parts of self are aligned and at one. The Orion light represents this integrated state. There is a force of attraction that guides us back to this state, and it can be felt on subtle levels. We can tune into this force when we are silent and empty. This card asks you to move into your next level of growth by emptying yourself, often in meditation. Learn to feel this subtle force of attraction that guides you to the state of ultimate balance within you. The last 4 cards of the deck access the energy called the Orion light, which connects to a very evolved era in Orion history. Since our natural state is as a unified being, there are universal forces that pull us towards integration and awakening. No matter how much we resist, when we resist this natural flow, we sometimes create accidents or seemingly negative circumstances to force us to move in the direction we need to go for the highest good. When we relax and trust in the flow of the universe, we are intuitively pulled towards the choices and circumstances that foster our evolution. Thus, we are always nurtured by creation, even when it doesn't seem that way. If you pulled this card, it can have several meanings. It can mean that you have a good ability to follow this flow and to continue to trust it. Or it may mean that you are resisting this flow, and this resistance is creating undesirable or painful circumstances in your life. If so, some serious inner work is needed to reconnect with the wisdom of the universe that you don't feel capable of accessing. You must create inner stillness in order to sense this flow of energy that gently nudges you towards integration and transformation. The chaos of outer circumstances is just a reflection of inner chaos. Don't be distracted by the outer chaos if it manifests in your life. Go within and reconnect with this flow, the natural force of attraction that always nudges you towards awakening. Which brings us back to the Judgment card and finding yourself beyond wisdom and the birth and expansion, being creative, being a co-creator, even if that scares you. I'm really seeing spiritual commitment with breath work, especially with CETACEAN. I'm going to say CETACEAN dolphin cards, living in the now, and forgiveness and gratitude. That's transmutation right there. Taking forgiveness and being thankful for the lessons, and living in the now, that those times are over, and not to worry, 9 of Swords, about the future. Bottom of the deck. And clarifying this Ace of Wands. SIRIUS. Secrecy. 44. 44. And underneath that, 11. Pioneering spirit. I'm going to read that angel number. Hold on. I know it's the your guardian angel. Yeah, 44. Your guardian angel is wrapping you in a cloak of loving protection. You are safe. Sweet souls going on this new path. Let's take a look. In order to protect, it's funny because 44 in my angel book is your guardian angel, wrapping you in a cloak of protection. In order to protect and serve humans, in the early days, Syrians often had to work secretly in small covert groups. This was a strong feeling that separation was necessary in order to do positive work without obstruction. Many humans still carry this karmic pattern. This card encourages you to think about the issues of secrecy and how you live your life. It suggests that it is time to live your life out in the open with no shame or fear of rejection or retribution if you show your true self to the world. This may be scary at first, but it will eventually lead to true sense of freedom and self-confidence. This card continues the theme. The Sirian secret societies have positive intentions, were the first seeds that created the pattern of covert human groups that eventually formed secret societies on Earth. These societies continue today. From a very innocent desire by the Sirian forefathers to protect humanity, if this card comes in your reading, it could mean that you are either connected to this ancient time on Earth when the secret societies began, or you had subsequent lifetimes with this theme. It could also mean that in your life now, you cling to secrets as a way to control others, to protect yourself, or to feel safe and in control of your life. This is one of those cards where you will have to look at the surrounding cards as well as the themes of your life now to really ascertain the deeper meaning. A general rule of thumb is to remember that secrets ultimately destroy relationships and the integrity of a community. While holding secrets is part of being human and is sometimes done in the best interest of others, it can sometimes be damaging. This card asks you to be very conscious of your relationship to the idea of secrecy and use it only with integrity in every aspect of your life. So if this speaks to you, that which you might not see, just know with the number 44 and your guardian angel is wrapping you in a cloak of protection, that you might be brave and come out of secrecy to be your full and true authentic self. That's what this read is about today. It's about finding who you truly are, awakening to your creative self. It is to discover and commit to spiritual practices, which might be breath work, not to worry about the future, not to dwell in the past, to forgive maybe secret societies that have used, I'm going to say, spiritual technology to control our freedom, and to move forward with this enlightening, with this awakening into enlightenment. And that's the galactic messages for this week. And that's what I see for you, sweet souls. And I'm sure I'll see you again. Take care from your Forest Fairy. Bye for now.